Well, hi, how are you? I'm glad to see you. Welcome to another Comedy Spot Live show. My name is Brian. Thank you for being here. We're going to have a good time tonight. If you don't know, tonight's show is Who Did It? Let me explain to you how the show works. I have three very funny people just waiting behind this video, image, whatever, and all of them are going to tell a story about how one time they did a thing. And it's your job to try and figure out who actually did the thing. We'll have several rounds. There's no points. It's just a lot of fun. But your job is to sniff out the person who actually did the thing. It'll be a lot of fun. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put up our little logo. I'll never find it now because I'm nervous. But this is Who Did It. I swear it is. Who did it? Let's bring out our panelists for tonight. Please welcome to the show. It's Kevin, it's Becky, it's Daniel. How are you guys?
So good.
Thank you.
I'm doing well.
Excellent. I'm very happy to have all three of you on the show. You all submitted to me three things that are like extraordinary or interesting. And then I'm going to share each one of those, one at a time. And all three of you are going to tell the story about how you did that thing, and then the audience has to pick out who really did it. All of your submissions were very interesting. I can't wait to hear more. And also, I told all three of you before the show, you're trying to throw people off your scent. You're trying to make people think it was somebody else. So the audience has to be watching out for that. Poor judgment.
Social deception, maybe.
Poor Judgment says, Brian, if you're nervous, just calm down, buddy. So everything's good. My Uncle Charlie is here, so that's important. I have family
Hi,
support.
Uncle Charlie.
Hey, Uncle Charlie.
He watches all the way from Ohio, you guys, which is pretty amazing. So, yeah, we're I was going to say intercontinental, but is that even what? No. Okay.
No, not at all.
It's not.
No.
Although the Midwest might as well be a continent of its own.
I'm glad that he's here. Nicole says, hi, everyone. Let's dive right in. Are you all ready to play?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Here is your first outrageous thing or interesting thing. Here it is. Here, I'll put it over by me. I was chased out of a park by a ghost. I was chased out of a park by a ghost. So each one of you are going to tell that story. Oh my goodness. Each one of you are going to tell that story. We're going to start with Becky this time. Becky's on the top next to me. So Becky, you're going to go first. So here we go. Becky, go ahead and tell us your story.
Oh, this happened long ago. I was in 7th grade. It was right before curfew. My friends and I were hanging out at the park across the street, which happened to be adjacent to a cemetery. And we were trying to do like a little seance, which is never really a good time to do a seance at like 9:30. It's a little early, you know? So we were like sitting in a circle. We were summoning a visitor. And then we summoned a very crotchety old janitor from high school. And his name was Joe. And he came over to us and he was like, leave me alone. I came to rest. And then he just scattered us out of there.
All right.
And we don't go back there.
Okay.
Haven't been back.
So perfect. That is your version of how I was chased out of. Yes, very nicely done. Very nicely done.
Very nice. Very nice.
Let's go ahead and hear Daniel's version of the same story.
Yeah. I was on a date once, and we went to this park to stargaze, as you do. And a good, like, football field length behind us, we hear crying. And the park is empty. There's no one there. It's like 10 o'clock at night. We hear crying, and the crying keeps getting closer. And as it gets closer, it sounds a lot like laughing, which is very bad. You don't want that to happen. So we both grab our like phones and turn the flashlights on. And like, so the laughing is just like coming at us. We turn our flashlights on, shine it up, and there's no one there. There's literally no one there. And we booked it. by the way, she had she was in a cast at the time. So I ran and left her behind. Very noble of me.
Okay, so that was your version of how you were chased out of a park by a ghost. If you're just joining us right now, one of these three, this actually happened to one of these three, but all three of them are trying to throw you off. You have to try and figure out who actually did it. Becky's gone, Daniel's gone. Kevin, you're up. Tell us the story how you were chased out of a park by a ghost.
So in high school and college, I had a lot of like odd jobs that I didn't keep for very long. In high school, in my junior year of high school, I was a dishwasher at a Mexican restaurant called The Bootlegger in Pocatello, Idaho. A fine establishment, but they were having some construction going on at this time. This story came on. So their parking lot was like half filled with construction materials. So the employees had to park across the street by a park. Now, so at night when I left, it was about 11 o'clock at night. And I had been around this time binging on a lot of horror films with my friends in high school. So when I got to my car, I heard the rattling behind me, right? So I was fumbling for my keys, and then it got closer, and there was it was well lit enough that I could see there was nobody there, but the steps were getting closer and closer to my car. So I knew that if you fumble too long for your keys, of course you die. So I left my car and went back to the establishment to maybe wait for somebody else to come walk with me to my car. I waited for about an hour and a half for the next person to leave. And in hindsight, the ghost was most likely just rats. But at the time, a ghost was much more dangerous. So that's my my ghost story, my ghost contact story.
Okay, fantastic. Now, audience, one of these three people were actually chased out of a park by a ghost, and you have to vote on who you think did it. So who did it? Everyone put your answers in the comments. Was it Becky? Was it Daniel? Was it Kevin? Stacy says it has to be Kevin because Idaho is so haunted.
That is true.
Yeah. It's let's see. Okay. Ron Hall says Kevin. That's the first vote up. Let's see. Evan says it was Daniel. Let's see. It has to be Daniel. He hates all them ghosts and even the good ones. Nicole said Daniel. My Uncle Charlie said Becky. Ismail said Daniel. Voting Becky because of hashtag teenage girl life. We've got a Daniel for sure. Looks like most people are going for Daniel. Which one of you actually was chased out of a park by a ghost?
It was me.
The audience sniffed it out.
They know a coward who's willing to run away from the when they see one.
Now, I guess so. You believe in ghosts.
Yes, and also specifically, there's a Mexican folklore called La Llorona, who is the crying woman.
Oh yeah.
And I was told a lot about La Llorona growing up from my mom.
Oh.
And so this crying ghost, I was 100% convinced. I was like, nope, that's her. She's here to kill me. My time has come.
Gotta go.
Yeah, you're on your own.
Let's see. What is this? Babaloa? Because he hates him. Daniel hates him.
I do hate ghosts.
Mignon said that Kevin had too much detail. I'm going with Daniel. That was her vote before everything went down. And Nicole said Daniel had a guilty face from the very beginning. So
To be fair, that is just my face.
Okay, let's move on to our second one. Here we go. I went 9 days without pooping. I went 9 days without pooping. We started with Becky on the first one. So, Daniel, you're going to go first on number two. Number two.
Yeah. Oh.
Ow. All right, Daniel, tell us about the time you went 9 days without pooping.
Yes. So I think I was like 12 or 13, and we were having Thanksgiving at my parents' or at my house, and my mom went to the store and she bought like the bread rolls. But these ones, I didn't know this. They had to be cooked. Like they were like already the bread rolls, but they had to be cooked. And I was like, I'll have a couple bread rolls before people show up. And me, I'm a bread fiend. I love bread. So I ended up like eating the entire thing of like raw, uncooked, like bread rolls. Turns out not great for your belly. You will go 9 days without pooping after eating 24 raw bread rolls.
All right, that was Daniel's version of I went 9 days without pooping. We're going to hear from Kevin now. Kevin, you're up.
So not a real pleasant story, but when I was in my early 30s, I had surgery in the old like the downstairs pipe area, and I had to wear a catheter for 2 weeks or so. And so they told me that, you know, because of the surgery, my schedule of like expelling waste from my body, urinating and the other, would be interrupted. So, urination I couldn't really tell because that's automatically going right into the bag. But the pooping, I figured, okay, it's you know, doing its thing. They told me to expect it. So I went in for the checkup to see how things were going, because like you have to let you in like 3 days before they're going to take the thing out and make sure there's no like infection going on and whatnot. And he said, how are things going? And great. And during the course of the conversation, I just happened to like mention that, yeah, I haven't been pooping since, you know, before the surgery. And just, you know, I thought it was normal because you told me to expect it. But then he got like super concerned. And apparently I was supposed to tell people I wasn't pooping. So yeah, I had to go back in for more stuff, and had to wear that catheter for a little while longer. So always talk to your doctor when things aren't going right.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yes. Good job, Kevin. Now we go over to Becky. Becky, tell us the time about the you didn't have a poop for 9 days.
Okay, you guys, look. So I suffer from a variety of belly issues. Like I have to do a lot. I drink a lot of kombucha every day, probiotics. Like my stomach is not my friend. It never has been. And so when this started, I initially had only gone 3 days without a number 2. And I was like, well, that's not unheard of. We've been here before. You know, let's just wait it out. My mom was a nurse. She was like, well, she wasn't around, but I knew her knowledge. So I was like, this is probably going to be okay. So day 5, I had to leave town with 4 other comedians to go do a show up in Eureka. We got about 2 hours into the drive and I was like, hey guys, no big deal. Don't freak out. But I haven't pooped in a really long time. And there's a chance that, you know, I might have to go to the hospital, which for those of you at home, if you've gone a long time without pooping, you can go 13 days before you go septic. I learned that during this experience. To make a long story short, we went the entirety of this trip without me pooping, but with the other comics that I was with checking in with me every time I went to the bathroom. And then the morning of the day we left, I snuck away from the breakfast table. I went to the bathroom. I came out. They all asked me if I pooped. I did, and we cheered and cheered. It was a beautiful time. I bonded with those comedians forever. That's the story of how I didn't poop for 9 days.
All right, perfect. So, audience, right now, one of these three didn't poop for 9 days. They all told a story about it. You have to figure out who actually went that long without pooping. So, was it Becky? Was it Daniel? Or was it Kevin? Put your answers in the comments now. Everybody go ahead and vote. Let's see. During your story, Kevin, Stacy said, yeah, Kevin's story is medically accurate. So I think she also told you to stir your butthole, and that would lead to some poops.
That also is medically accurate.
Stir your butthole is our new comedy spot merch.
I would for sure wear a hoodie that said
Stir your butthole.
Well, you know, when we were going to the moon, this is off topic a little bit, but you would have to stir your tanks to make sure that they didn't freeze. And I think that's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, it's a good euphemism.
Yeah, but you have to stick your finger.
Yeah. Look, humanity can be found in many of our creations. Yeah. So I'm not surprised.
Let's see who people are voting on. Let's see. Oh, there's lots of votes, so get ready. Uncle Charlie says it was Becky. Poor Judgment says, going with Kevin. Marco says Becky. What the hecky? I'm going with poop. I hope you pooped Becky. I don't trust anyone who doesn't poop for more than 2 hours. Let's see. Becky. Also, I think it's Becky. Oh, that Becky. Becky. It was Becky, but I also believe, coincidentally, also happened to Kevin. Becky. It can't be Becky. There isn't a time frame from pooping. Screw the cryo tanks. That's correct. See? It looks like everyone's saying Becky. So, out of our panelists, which one of you actually went 9 days without pooping?
That was me.
Yeah.
And I haven't gone that long since.
Ooh, good thing.
Yeah.
It was a close call.
I love in your story how all the comedians were like checking on your every bathroom break, you know? Because I can see a whole room of comedians going like, yay, you finally pooped.
Well, this is the funny part is that, so Mike Sella was on that trip with us. And when we were driving back from Eureka, he was like, I'm so glad that you finally went number 2 because I'd been eating the whole trip too. And he was like, so I kept watching you eat and I was just picturing you like blowing up like a balloon.
You're just inside the car and you go like,
Violet from Willy Wonka.
Yeah. Except way less delicious.
Poor Judgment is astonished that it was actually you that went the 9 days. But she's like, glad you survived, Becky. That's insane.
My story was drawn from real experience. It just was not. It was like 2 days. But
okay.
Yeah, don't eat uncooked bread rolls.
Yeah, you're not. Yeah. As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, maybe it happened to both of us.
Mine actually based on
it
was only 2 or 3 days. So. Yeah.
I love cheese sticks. And man, I had a lot of them from Costco, and I paid for it. Not good. I don't know how many days, but 1 day when you got that much cheese in you, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah, I'm lactose now, so cheese is just a cheat code for pooping.
Oh, it does. I'm lactose intolerant too, but it just stops me up, which I'm used to. But there's pills for it now.
Yeah, some lactates. I live by the Tades.
I buy them at Costco, man, where you really get your money's worth with my giant bag of string cheese.
Yeah, just flexing on everyone.
If you're just joining us, this is not a show called Poop Talk. This is called Who Did It? All these comedians submitted to me things that they've done in their past, but all three of them are going to claim to have done all these things. You have to figure out who actually did it. So here's your third one tonight. This one says, I thought my jokes were killing. They weren't. I thought my jokes were killing. They weren't. So that is our third interesting or outrageous thing that's happened to one of them. But Becky, Daniel, and Kevin all have to tell this story. So Kevin, you're up this time. Tell us the story about how you thought your jokes were killing, but they weren't.
So when I was 19, I had occasion to get very drunk with my friends. And this particular evening, we were driving around. The designated driver was driving. We were the rest of us in the car. Bars had closed, but we did not want to go home. We were looking for something to do. We passed an adult bookstore. Never having been in one, we decided to go see what the hubbub was about. And there was a little panda teddy bear kind of thing in their logo. So how bad could the place be? Went inside and we were riffing on, of course, the dildo jokes, laughter. I made jokes about the titles of different videos, laughter from everyone inside. I made jokes about the decor, laughter from everyone inside. I decided to wander back to where the video booths were. I had quarters, so I was going to watch a video. There was a line of people waiting for the video booths. I made a couple of one-liners, laughs from everyone. A couple of the booths opened up, and so I went into one and was trying to figure out how this thing worked. I could not figure out where the coins were going in. It was dark, so I couldn't see exactly how to operate things. And I heard something to my right-hand side. And it was a hand poking through a hole in the wall about the level of my crotch, looking for something to the side. It was then that I realized that the majority of the clientele in this place at this time of the night were there for a rendezvous back at the glory hole section where I was now at. The laughter that was coming from my jokes was not because they were so funny. It was because I was the new face in the crowd that had not yet been fucked. So,
God, Jesus.
So I made my way out of the booth there and waited for my friends in the parking lot in the car with a newfound humility.
Okay. All right, very good. Stacy said, trying to give you digital simulation through a glory hole. Jennifer said, hey, I'm late, but I'm here. Excellent time to join the live stream. Becky, tell us the story of you thought your jokes were killing, but they weren't.
Okay, you guys, so we've been in this quarantine for a really long time. As a stand-up comedian, I'm trying to adapt the best way that I can. So I've found ways to be doing stand-up comedy on a variety of different platforms, including Zoom, right? So not that long ago, I was doing this Zoom show. I was very excited to be there. I was like, yeah, I wrote new jokes. These people are going to love them. There's probably about like 45 people there. And we finally get to my set. I start my jokes and like they're landing really, really hard. Like I was like, oh, this is going very well. And there was like what sounded like some heckling, but I just powered through it, just like I would if I was at a bar show. I was used to it. This wasn't my first rodeo, And then the laughter gets like louder and louder. And I was like, oh, I'm doing really well. This is so good. I'm loving this. This is a lot of fun. And then I finished my set. I had done about 10 minutes. And I look at my screen and my microphone was on mute. So another comic on the show started their set. And that's where those laughs are going. That was a fun moment for me.
Oh, yeah, that sounds terrible. Okay, good job, Becky. Daniel, you're up. Tell us the story how you thought your jokes were killing, but they weren't.
Yeah, so a younger, new to comedy Daniel decided, it'd be a great first date idea to bring someone to an improv show. That's not a good idea anytime.
You pick weird dates, man.
Just never bring anyone to an improv show. So we had an improv show. I was pretty confident in myself in improv. However, this show was for Comedy Exchange, which is it's like doing improv based off stand-up sets, which is it's a fun show. However, it tends to have like a lighter improv audience, I guess. So I was expecting a lot of my friends to be there. And when they weren't, I was like, I realized I'm like, just my confidence just shot down. I was like, none of my friends are here. I'm doing bad. And then I like kind of powered through it, convinced myself I was doing okay. Turned out I wasn't, because I got ghosted.
Oh, did she leave?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Bounce out.
All right. Well, those are 3 stories about how I thought my jokes were killing, but they weren't. I'm going to be honest with you. I think that all 3 of these could probably be true.
What about me being ghosted could be true?
Unfortunately, only one person claimed this. So, audience, you get to vote now. Was it Kevin? Was it Daniel? Was it Becky? Who actually thought their jokes were killing, but they weren't? So right off the bat, Poor Judgment says, I'm voting for Daniel this time, but kind of want to vote for Becky.
Beckville. Daniel and Becky together.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Took me a second. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, Jennifer is like, oh no, Daniel, that's horrible if it's true. Yeah, Poor Judgment kind of wants to vote for all 3. Let's be real. Everybody bombs. True. Marco says he's going to go with Becky this time. So we have a Becky. We have a Daniel. Vote for Becky. That sounds tough. Brett says, I've known Daniel my whole life, so I hope this isn't true, but it's Daniel. I think it's Becky. Let's see, because it's normal to get laughed at when you're at a glory hole, right? I don't know. Jennifer says she's always wrong. She's going to go with Becky. Yeah, Marco says the glory hole room is a tad wacky sounding. But Ismail's still going with Kevin. And then we have a Daniel. We have a Kevin and his random glory hike. That's
Hike.
I think it's Kevin. Let's see. I'm going to go with Becky, but I still think it's Daniel. Okay. So one of the 3 of you thought your jokes were killing in this instance, but they weren't. Who actually did this?
I did.
Yeah. So
I do want to say, while Kevin was telling his story, the hand through the hole I could only picture as the hand from the Addams Family.
It's exactly what it was. I was running long on time, so I didn't have the alliteration there.
So So Kevin,
Yeah.
did you like? Are you sure you didn't know it was hands in the hole night?
I had never been to that establishment before. I'd never been to an establishment like that before. Did not know that glory holes were actually a thing outside of videos. I thought they were specifically made just for videos.
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah. Brian's like, the glory hole is real. Okay, if you're just joining us, we've added some people. All three of these comedians submitted to me things that they've done in the past, but all of them are going to claim that they've done all the things, and you have to figure out who really did it. So who did it? We are on number 4 right now. People are losing their shit. Like Marco's like, what? I'm sorry, I doubted you, Kevin. Poor Judgment's like, oh my God, I knew what glory holes were since I was 12.
I knew what they were. I just thought they were like staged, like
like the
like
moonlight.
most every oh my god, you're so big, I want more. That's all fake. I know it.
Marco also said that Kevin went back several times, however. Okay, here's number 4. Number four. I almost lost an eye. I almost lost an eye. We're going to go back over to Becky for this one. I almost lost an eye. Becky, you get to go first. Tell us your story.
Well, I worked at McDonald's for a really long time, for years and years and years. And, well, I mean, I'm not old enough to work there for years and years and years, but like a while. Okay. And I worked breakfast shift a lot. And what you would have to do during, like, in the opening shift is you had to make all of the iced coffee and all of the sweet tea. And you would have to make like this big tank, and you'd have to lift it up onto a shelf for both the iced coffee and the sweet tea. Well, the night before I was opening, our maintenance guy was in he was in the store fixing things, and he left a Phillips head screwdriver on the shelf that I had to lift up the iced coffee onto. So, and like, look, if this was when I was still in college, I went to work drunk a lot. And so one morning I'm lifting up this iced coffee that was much too heavy and that I was definitely not sober enough to be lifting up. And I knocked the screwdriver out, like somehow the angle that I did it at shot the screwdriver out towards me. It didn't actually it did not end up hitting my eye. It hit like the bridge of my nose, but it was very close. I was very scared. And I took the rest of the day off.
Okay.
You know, for
Terrifying.
mental health.
Yeah, that's horrible. So
And because I was very hungover.
yeah. You planted that screwdriver. Too many screwdrivers.
Okay, so that's Becky's story of how she almost lost an eye. Daniel, you're up this time. Tell us your story.
Yeah, when I was about 19, I was working at a home and garden show with my friends. It was like kind of just like setting up and like park maintenance and whatnot. It was only for like a weekend, and we were getting paid under the table. And this was out in Dixon, so they were it was like, I don't know, 20 miles away. But rather than driving 20 miles every day to go to the thing, they just put us up in a hotel. And one night, it was like the night before the first day, we went with the person who had hired us, the Home Depot, to just pick up a couple more things. And there's like this storm going on. Like, so we leave Home Depot, and like it's like good like 20-mile-an-hour winds, rain's coming down, and something flies into my eye, and I don't know what it is. I thought it was maybe just like dirt or something, and I couldn't open my eye. So I was like, maybe it'll work itself out. We get back to the hotel. I still can't open my eye. And my friend Brian, who's working it with me, he takes a picture of my eye, and it's just like a full-on like cut, like on my eyeball. and we're 19. We don't have insurance. We don't know what to do. So we called the person who had hired us, and she was like, we're like, hey, Daniel got something in his eye. Do you know where like an urgent care is or something like that? We couldn't find it on like Google. And she didn't help at all. She just told us to, whenever I do find a hospital or something, don't tell them that I was working. Just say that it happened at home. So then I went to UCD, and it worked itself out. It was a giant splinter, apparently. I had a gash on my eye.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then I was just mad the rest of the 3 days. I was just petty as hell. I was like, you almost made me lose my eye. Fuck this.
Okay, if you're just joining us, one of the three of these comedians almost lost their eye. Becky told her story. Daniel told her story. Kevin, you're up. Tell us the story of how you almost lost an eye.
So I was a theater major. Big surprise. And I had a number of these part-time student jobs, like working the box office, working like building sets and other non-theater related jobs. I did a courier service, like from one department to another across campus. It was real easy, so you could grab a package and then I can go to my second job. And we were working on the Crucible. I don't know if you're familiar with the Crucible, everybody. But I had a very small role, but stole every scene I was in. Thank you very much. But my job on this particular day was we had these large, we're building a set, so we had these large styrofoam bricks, and we were gouging out, like, what do you call it, like canals, or, just, we're trying to make them look like big wooden beams. So we were carving out just weird shapes in it so it would look like wood after we paint it. And not having slept a lot, I was just kind of zoning out and had the awl I was working with. And I was going for like maybe an hour and a half, and then I remembered that I still had that package that I had to deliver to the other department that I picked up before my shift. And so I freaked out. I threw the awl like down and went to grab the package, and like went and delivered the package real quick to the, I don't know what called the department, I can't remember what the department was called, but it was medical related. And when I got there, I had delivered the wrong package. So they thought that at one point I had lost the cadaver eye that I was delivering for the experiments. It was still with the styrofoam, so I was able to find that when I got back. Oh shit, I saw what I did, and I went back and switched out the packages. So they were mad at me briefly, but I did redeem myself.
So you had an eye, an actual real eye that you almost lost. Interesting.
Almost lost it.
All right. Well, everybody that's watching, go ahead and vote now. One of the three of these comedians almost lost an eye. Was it Becky? Was it Daniel? Was it Kevin? Go ahead and put your vote in the comments now. Oh, Jordan showed up a little late, but I'm glad you're here. Brian, without Kevin even finishing his story, said, "We've all been drunk at work, and I almost lost an eye. I vote Becky." So right off the bat, Becky has Brian's vote. Let's see. Patrick was like, "LOL, are you serious?" I think this is for Ishmael. He said, "One time I went to a glory hole and someone took a dump through it, and I got in my eye, and now I'm blind in that one eye." True story.
Happens to the best of us.
That's much better than my story.
Good Lord, that's a lot. Evan says it was Kevin for sure. Christina says it was Daniel. Let's see. Brett says his answer is always Daniel. It's Daniel. He hates ghosts and stickers. Gonna go with Danky. Okay, Daniel. I vote Daniel again. Let's see if we get any other votes here. Going once, going twice. Twitch, you guys gonna vote? Oh, Poor Judgment did, so there we go. Gonna go with Becky. I think that's our last vote. All right. I don't know if there's any consensus here. It's kind of...
Well, definitely not Kevin, I guess, is a consensus.
It's not Kevin. Yeah, it's not Kevin. It's either Becky or Daniel. So which one of you actually did this? Who almost lost an eye?
I did.
Yeah, good. Oh, it was over your eye.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, it was very good.
I mean, it was not good that you almost lost an eye.
Yeah, I didn't know this, but when you get like a cut on your eye, they put like this like UV liquid like on your eye so they could find the cut. They didn't need to do that. Like I had blood in my eye, but I guess they just, I don't know. I guess if you're a doctor and you know that you have blue like UV stuff, you might as well like bust it out every once in a while. Not every day you get to use that.
Yeah, they're like, oh yeah, finally get to use this. It's been on the shelf for years.
My eyes just got blood running down it.
You're like, just follow the trail. I can see where it's at. All right, that was good. By all three of you, good stories. Let's see. Let's do one or two more. We have a little bit more time.
Yeah, please. This is great. I love this.
Eyes are overrated. Hands is where it's at. Okay, I mean, no one's going to fight against you on that one. Let's see. I came close to stealing a car. I came close to stealing a car. This was my favorite submission, by the way, because it was I came close to stealing a car. I think we had Becky go first last time, right? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, Daniel, you're going to go first this time, but all three of you are going to tell the story of how you came close to stealing a car. Daniel, you're up first.
Okay, so I had sold my car because dumb cosmetic reasons. I was like 18. I was like, this car has a rip in the headliner. I don't want it no more. I have money for a new car. And so my sister's friend's boyfriend was selling his car because he was in like high school at the time, and his mom was like, hey, your grades are shit, and they said if you don't get your grades up, I'm selling your car. So she really stuck to her guns, and she was like, all right, I'm gonna sell your car. And so me and my dad, we went to pick it up. It was like right around the corner from my house, and we knew it like had some problems and like it wasn't gonna like run super well. So we just went to pick it up, and the car was a white like early 2000s Toyota Corolla. And so we go to the house, and there's a white Toyota like Avalon there, like around the same year. And I was like, okay, well maybe they just didn't like know the model or whatever. And then so we went and we had the key, and it opened the door. It didn't start the car, and my dad's like, okay, well maybe that's just because like the car's broken. So he gets like under the hood and starts looking at everything, and I'm like, and I'm sitting inside, and I'm really excited because a Toyota Avalon is a step above. It's got leather interior, and I'm just like lost in like the fantasy. And I'm like looking at everything. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a sweet car. And out comes this dude who's built like a UFC fighter, and he like rushes my dad, and he's like threatening to kick our asses and stuff. And that's when like we knew, we're like, oh fuck, we something went wrong. Turns out the actual house was like on the other block, but literally like the same amount of houses down. So yeah, we almost stole a car.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Good. Kevin, you are up next. Tell us the story of how you almost stole a car.
So, back when I was in high school, I had a piece of shit 1974 Chevy Vega. The car was famous when it was new for rusting in the showroom. That's the quality that Chevy was putting out at the time. And I got mine like fourth or fifth or sixth hand, so it was very, very bad. So a lot of times it didn't run, and my brother would let me borrow his truck, which was also a piece of shit. It was a 1967 Chevy, but he loved his truck. It was slightly better than mine because it ran most of the time. But he let me borrow it. So I went to the grocery store for Mom because that was part of the deal. If I got to borrow his car, I had to run errands for the family. Then went to meet my friends because we got no freezer items, so the food could stay in the back of the truck and it would be fine. After we got done, I went back out to the apartment complex parking lot, and I couldn't get the key into the door because I had bent it, like when I was fooling around with getting in and out. I bent it, so that must be why I couldn't get it in. Luckily, the passenger side door was open, so I went in that way, and I couldn't get it into the ignition switch. Fine. So I called my brother, my friend's phone, and he said, "You just have to force it. It's like you got to wiggle it in because it's loose." He didn't deal with that part. He just like put the big tires on it that were too big, and it looked really cool until they scraped up along the inside of the wheel well, so we had to take them off again. Or he would put flames on it, the sticker flames you would get at the store, but then they would fall off. So anyway, he was much more concerned about those kind of things than actual ignition and whatnot.
Right.
So he said, get in there if it's too loose, and all you have to do is open the trunk and connect the solenoid posts with a screwdriver in the back of the bed there. So that's what I did. I forced it in, turned it, opened up the hood, connected the solenoid pole so it would turn over, back down, and then when I threw the screwdriver back in the back of the truck, I noticed my food was missing.
Yeah.
So I'd turn off the truck, and go call my brother again to let him know I have to go look for the food. But that's when I noticed that, like around the other side there, that's when I actually had parked the truck. So, yeah, I almost went home foodless with somebody else's truck.
Okay. Very good. Becky, last story on I came close to stealing a car.
Okay, picture this. It's Thanksgiving weekend, 2008. That's the fall after I graduated high school. Okay, I live out in the country. I'm still living at home with my parents. I don't have a car, but I do have a license. My whole family was visiting. I get a text from my closest girlfriend, and she's like, "Hey, that guy that you had a crush on in high school is back home visiting for the weekend. We're all partying over at Jeremy's house. You should come." I don't have a car. My mom knew I was shady, so she always slept with her car keys under her pillow. But my sister was there, and she was there with her Jeep Cherokee, and she left her keys on the hook like a dummy. So I get the text from my friend. I grab the keys. I get in her car. I put it in neutral so I can coast down the driveway without my dog freaking out. And then I get a text from my friend who was like, "Actually, I'll come pick you up. No big deal. Don't worry about it." So I just close the door, leave the keys in the car, and my friend picked me up at my gate.
All right. Perfect. All right. One of the three of you came close to stealing a car. The audience has to try to figure out who actually did it. So audience, go ahead and vote. Was it Becky? Was it Daniel? Was it Kevin? One of the three of them came close to stealing a car. I want to vote Becky, but okay, I'm voting Becky.
Thank you, poor judgment, for coming to that conclusion.
Brian is killing it in the comments today. He said, "What the hecky? Grand Theft Auto is a crime, Becky." Brett says, "Becky, it's Daniel, only because I want to try to steal a car with him in the future." Okay,
we
all right.
can do this.
Good, good, good.
I'm down.
Mignon
Quarantine
says,
has.
Mignon says Becky for the win. Go ahead and vote now. Whoever you think actually tried to steal, or no, who came close to stealing a car, not actually tried to steal a car. Let's see. Going once on the 30-second delay, going twice on the 30-second delay. I think most people said Becky. Becky? Let's see. Kevin, Daniel, who actually did this?
I did it.
I think I put all of yours right in the middle. Yeah, so good. No, that's good. I'm all good. You almost stole the car.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Almost lost an eye, almost stole a car.
I think it's hilarious that you were going to look at a car and then almost stole somebody else's car.
Yeah, because it did look super shady on our part. Because like the kid whose like mom we bought it from, she signed like the paper, like the transfer paper, like on a napkin, and she's like, I'm not gonna be home, but here's like the key and here's like the registration or whatever when you want to come pick it up.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, cool. So then we went, and that's why like we didn't meet with anyone. And then when the dude came out and he's like, why are you guys trying to steal my car? My dad's like, no, I swear we got. I'm like, you can read the napkin. It says. And I was like, oh, this is not a good look.
Weird.
But officer, the napkin, the napkin.
Yeah.
Okay. By the way, Poor Judgment says, Dazam! Becky talks a good talk. So there we go. Oh, no, I got rid of Becky's. Oh, there we go. Name tag's back up. Okay, there you go. All right. This is our last one. But this is a speed round. Your stories can only be 40 seconds. Kevin, your story has to be 20 seconds. Since your stories have been longer tonight.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm giving you a time limit. Okay. I forced a radio station off the air. So let's see. We started with Daniel last round. We're going with Kevin this round. So go ahead and tell your story.
20 seconds. I used to get paid to dress up as a chicken by a radio station, and I would go on the remote broadcasts. And one day I was fooling around and got too close to the broadcast booth and knocked into all the wiring, ripping them from the walls and taking the whole radio station off the air.
All right, very good. Becky, over to you. I forced a radio station off the air.
I just used to call the same radio station every single day and ask them to play a song that didn't actually exist. And then I would leave really bad reviews, like on their Facebook page, until they finally just closed.
Okay, very good. Daniel, you forced a radio station off the air.
Yeah, when I first started driving, I got in a car accident and I crashed into like the radio station's like, I don't know, I guess it's like their base, like tower or whatever. And this was like in the like mid 2010s. So they're like, we could either pay to fix this or we could just like throw it away because no one listens to the radio anymore. And so they're just like, get it out of here. It was like pop country anyway. Who cares?
Okay. Was it country? Is that what you said?
It was pop country specifically.
Pop country. Wow.
No one wants that. It's not even worth. It's not worth salvaging.
That's a terrible combo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Literally just what country is today.
One of the three of you forced a radio station off the air. Was it Kevin? Was it Becky? Was it Daniel? Everyone go ahead and vote. Hell, we might even have time for one more if we go that fast one more time.
Yeah.
So go ahead and vote. Oh, man. Here we go. She doesn't lose an eye. She doesn't steal a car. What the heck? Radio station went off the air because of Becky. Okay, that wasn't as good as the last one, but it was pretty good. So we have one vote for Becky. I forced a radio station off the air. Who else do we have? Daniel or
Lost
Kevin?
everybody.
Can I vote for Kevin? Can Kevin? Oh. Okay, Daniel votes for Daniel. Mignon votes for Kevin. Go ahead and place your votes now. Let's see. Probably Kevin. I need to hear more to be conclusive. Nicole's going with Kevin. I think we're getting some sort of consensus here with the Kevin vote. Kevin seems like he's the only one old enough to force a radio station off the air. Okay, who did it?
I did.
Okay, one last one, but we have to go super fast. Everybody gets 20 seconds. I almost died because of my punctuality. I can't say it. Let's move on. Becky, you're first this round. How did you almost die because you were on time?
Okay, so I told you guys I used to work at McDonald's. I saw a lot of crazy shit happen there. And one of those same mornings that I was opening, I went outside because I used to always open like 5 or 6 minutes late because I wanted the riffraff to like make their way through and not bother me. But one morning I went and I opened on time, and there was a scary man standing outside with a knife in his hand. And then I locked the door and I didn't open.
Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Wow.
Holy crap. Okay. Daniel, you're up. How did you almost die because you were on time?
Anyone who knows me knows I'm notoriously late for everything, and I want to try to fix that sometimes. So I was running late, or typically I run late for work, and to get to my work, I got to cross the train tracks. And so I decide, I'm going to try to not be late anymore. And usually when I go to work, there's not a train because it turns out like it runs a little bit earlier than I go to work. Anyway, I'm driving over the tracks. My car gets stuck. There's a train coming. Get it out of the way. I don't die, but, it could have happened.
All right, Kevin, last one of the night. You almost died because you were on time.
I used to work at a restaurant opening shift. I was short order cook at a Bob's Big Boy. The restaurant was about a block and a half from where the freeway ended. It wasn't a freeway exit. The freeway ended with a stoplight. And it was about 3:30 in the morning. I was going to be there on time, a little early. And I fell asleep at the wheel on the freeway and woke up just as I was reaching the end of the freeway. Overcorrected, trying to save myself, spun several times, went up on 2 wheels at one point and wound up in the middle of the intersection.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, luckily there was nobody around because it was 3:30 in the morning. So no one got to see my amazing driving skills.
All right, very good. So those are 3 stories about almost dying because you were running on time. We had stories from Becky, Daniel, and Kevin. It's up to you to vote in the comments. So let's see. Poor Judgment says I'm voting Beckvin or Kevicky. Beaky, because where do freeways end? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Brian's taking another stab at it. Don't be late. Being on time is great. What the hecky? This is Becky. Very good. He says, hope that was better this time. Yeah, that was good.
It was better.
It was more concise.
Let's see. Becky for great self-awareness. It's Becky for sure. Becky, yikes, that's crazy. So we've got a consensus brewing here. Much better, Brian. Pronouncing all her stuff. Yes. So let's see. 4 for Becky. Well, shoot, that's probably going to land right there. I'll give it another second because I know that Patrick's like on a 1.5-minute delay. So I'll stall for time so Patrick can get his vote in. Or he just left, and we'll just... Daniel. But then Jennifer says, Becky, it's clearly going in Becky's direction. Which one of you almost died because you were on time?
That was me.
It was
Oh, really? I thought it was Becky.
Oh, I love it. You know what's really funny is I think Becky could have done any of those things.
Your stories are very believable.
Yeah. They have
Thank you so much.
very grounded.
I'm a very good liar.
When I asked Becky to play, I was like, who gets people to vote for her all the time? Becky. So, Kevin, I'm glad that you didn't run into the sign at the end of the freeway and die.
Well, no, it was not a sign. It was just dirt and bricks and construction materials.
Yeah, way less dangerous.
Would have died for sure. Okay, all right, good. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah, get real pedantic about it.
The freeway ended because they were still building the freeway. So
Oh shit.
it's like turned off like 90 degrees to a stoplight.
The year was 1932. The freeway was being invented.
I can't read this out loud, but Brian says, Kevin definitely lived life. He definitely F's. Poor Judgment says, you're all survivors. So there you go. I want to thank Becky, Kevin, Daniel for doing the show today. You're wonderful people, and I'm really glad that you were able to make some time for me tonight. Thanks everybody at home who stuck around, watched, voted, all that good stuff. I think we're going to be right back next week with this show. Jazz is going to be on next week. I think Gil is going to be on next week. Gil's another really good liar too. So, yeah. I mean, in a good way for the show. Yeah. So he'll be on next week. But again, thank you, Becky, Kevin, Daniel. You guys were fantastic.
Thanks for having us.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Thank
all right.
you.
Everyone watching, goodbye. That's it. We're out.
Bye.